Well, welcome to our first podcast, Coles's Corner. I do have my Penn State mask on. It will not stay on, but it's on because my first guest is Keith Olsommer, former North Pocono grad like myself and Penn State grad. Keith, welcome aboard to, I guess we're calling it Coles's Corner. Your Delaware Valley Warriors are getting ready for a big game. Congratulations, first of all, on winning your championship last week. What do you think of the mask, Keith?
I think the mask is outstanding. They're off to a rough start, but they'll be all right.
Yeah,
they're going to be fine down there. Like all of us,
it's tough.
What's that, Jim?
Let's talk about the COVID situation. How was it for you as a coach? You've been coaching there for a long time. How did you deal with it? Because I know at Danville they had a hiccup. Did you have any problems with the student body or your program having any issues with it? Did you hear me, Keith? Do you copy, Keith?
We haven't
Go ahead.
Had any problems within the program at all.
All right.
Fortunately, not on wood.
All right, Keith, we're gonna come back to you. You're breaking up a little bit and having an internet issue. We're gonna work with you. Don't go too far. They're gonna be there. In the meantime, Mike Brennan's also going to join us, and Mike's from Danville. We've known him a long time, Mike. We know you from your Mount Carmel days with a couple of state championships, a lot of programs, Nativity, Hazleton, most recently, Blue Mountain. When you came over to the Danville situation, what were some of the most basic things that you did, whether at Mount Carmel, Blue Mountain, at Hazleton, that you wanted to incorporate with the Ironman right off the beginning?
I think attitude, Jim, we had to, teach the kids how to win and be successful. They came off a 4-7 season last year. The system was different, so we had to sell them on something different. They went from a wing T system to one in which the kids very seldom pass blocked in the 5-step. So we had a lot of things to teach them that there was no reason for them to believe in. But we had to make them believe, and we put a lot of time in the off season with them. They were great. They were with us 4 days a week from mid-June on, and the kids really bought in. So I think right now they're doing things the way we expect them to do it. Our culture, I think, has changed, and the kids are excited about playing football.
Yeah, the end of last season ended on a down note, so you had to at least mentally get them turned around, but also physically. And then physically, you did have a problem with COVID. How long did that put things on halt for your program? And then obviously things seem to be going strong right now.
Yeah, we had a couple issues within the buildings, but it didn't affect our program directly. The only game we missed was the Mount Carmel situation 2 weeks ago. So our kids were, really able to keep continuity. They're very vigilant throughout the whole process. They still are. We still are with having them wash their hands and wear their masks, and they do a great job with separation. So I feel like our kids, we got through a lot. We learned a lot together. It's been a work in progress, and right now I think we're playing some of our best football of the season.
Well, we're showing highlights of your win over Athens last week, and you've had really good quarterbacks over the years. You have one now with KJ Riley running and throwing. I know you had Dave Shinsky, who was a big arm guy, kind of skinny for Mount Carmel, but tall. Marcus Wasilewski, who was, of course, a leader, and even Sparky Wolk most recently in Hazleton. What is KJ's role? Is necessarily a passer, a runner, but also a winner?
Yeah, he's a special young man. That's the first thing you look at. You realize he's a natural born leader. He's a point guard in the basketball team. He's got an infectious personality. He's always smiling. He's always calm. He does a really good job with all of those things. Then I think obviously he has a big arm. I think he's thrown for 67 career touchdown passes and 6,800 yards or something. But he runs the ball well as well. And I think his biggest asset, Jim, is he's never tackled by the first guy. He's so elusive. We throw the ball 170 times this year. We've only given up 4 sacks. And that's a large part to one, the development of our offensive line. Those guys are doing a great job, but KJ never gets the first guy, never gets him. So he's special and he's a lot of fun to coach.
Carson Persing is putting up astronomical numbers. It's like, I mean, basically it's a touchdown a game, 1,694 yards, and he's just a sophomore. I looked at his stats. I see he's 5'8", so obviously he's not one of those Plexico Burris type guys, but he must be a speedster, and he must come in and out of his breaks unbelievably quick, because I see him sometimes just wide open.
He is special. He really is. I mean, he's just I've never coached anyone like him. You know, the only guy I can tell you that when I look at him, I see Sean Judge from Valley West.
Sure, okay, yeah.
He's that type of guy. He's got stop and start. He never has a bad rep. Not in practice, not in the weight room, not in a Friday night. He is really special. He always gets open. You can do anything with. He's a brilliant kid. You can do anything with him. He grasps everything, and he's really, really explosive. And he's really tough to defend. And again, another guy that's just a great football kid. He lives it. He breathes it. He works all the time, and he's a special one as well.
All right. You have a big game Saturday. Your only loss, 42-28 to Montoursville. It seems like every year, the last 7-8 years, it's either Montoursville or Danville or both in the district championship game. You talk about your offense. I look at Montoursville, and I'm just like, wow. How do you contain an offense, or do you think it's going to be another shootout come Saturday?
But you can't contain them. I mean, it starts up front with those guys. I mean, their system is one in which they've done for years. The kids grew up on it. They're physical up front. Maddox Delane has done a great job, getting everybody involved in the offense. But Dylan Bennett, what an athlete, and Dylan Mole and Dylan Young. And then you had, the tailback. I mean, it's just, they're a very good football team. And now what you have is the same situation. You just have, the Jones kid, and the Signor kid, who are just grinders. They're excellent high school football players. Very seldom do you see, I don't think I've ever had kids play fullback and tailback in an I system and flip around and play inside linebacker. That's really difficult to do.
Yeah,
they're really special football players, and they're a tough out, no doubt about it. They're good. They're coached well. They're used to winning. Their system's in place a lot longer than ours is, and they'll be very difficult for us on Saturday.
You said you had the remnants of the Delaware wing tee, and I guess that isn't a main staple in your diet, if you will, but you kept some of those things so the kids at least had a little comfort zone going forward this season?
No doubt, especially the Waggle package. We're running Waggle out of everything, and that's in large part because KJ threw for a chunk of his yards throughout his career, in the wing tee system. So, it's our kids are very good at it. They do some wing tee things very naturally. Schematically up front, and then in terms of level routes like the Waggle, the kids are really natural at those things, and they all know how to do it. So we did keep that, and we add some different dimensions to it. But we didn't know exactly how the summer was going to play out. None of us did,
right?
Or how the season. So we felt it was really important to keep a certain part of what they did, and then just build from there. We've been able to build faster, I think, than we thought we would. But they're very bright young men, and they really love football, and they study it. They're great listeners, very coachable. So they pick up on things very well. For how much we do and how much we put in, we never have any kind of busts. They're always dialed in.
We're trying to get Keith dialed back in. He's out there in the boonies a little bit, so we're having an internet issue. But two things. First of all, you guys know each other through coaching a little bit. Mm-hmm. You've cross-referenced each other. They beat Hazleton last season. They beat Hazleton yesterday, so you know them from a coaching standpoint. But you also coached together, haven't you?
Yeah, we coached in the PSFCA East-West game back in 2005. So that's the first time we really met. I knew him before then, so I really respect what he's done. They played a lot of games up in Milford, and we cross paths quite a bit. I have a lot of respect for him in this program. He's got a great staff up there. There's some Hazleton connection in that building and on that staff, and so we had a lot of games up there, which I care to forget at this point. Yeah. But I really admire what they do systematically. I admire what they do. Defensively, they're really good with what they do, and I almost wanted to emulate it when I went to Danville, and Keith and I spoke about that. So he just does a great job, and I'm excited to know him, excited that he has the opportunity to play this week at our place. So I'll actually see him up there Friday night.
All right, Keith, are you okay? Do you hear us now? Do you hear Coach Brennan talking?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Oh, good.
Hey, Keith,
good.
How are you?
Mike, are you going to leave like some cookies and milk or something for Keith down there in the locker room?
Yeah, we have our steak and pasta dinner at 4:45. So I'll say hello before I head out of town.
All right, sounds good. Mike, thanks for joining us. Let's join Keith for the tail end.
Thanks for having me.
Well, good luck against Montoursville. We'll be having highlights at our show at 10 and 11. Thank you, Mike.
Take care. Thanks for having me. Yeah, good luck, Keith. Thank you.
All right, Keith, the first question I gave you, and you kind of broke up a little bit. How did you handle it? You've been coaching a long time up there, but this is a unique season. It's unique from week to week. I mean, you've seen teams like Valley West is playing, Valley West isn't playing. How did you guys handle it?
Day by day.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we're still approaching it. We just tell our kids, once the season started, we have a game. Let's just, we're blessed that we have a game. Let's take advantage of this opportunity, and then hopefully we can earn another week. And that's kind of been our mantra throughout this whole season. It was tough in the summer. The kids would come and they were excited about working out. And, they see the news, they read the newspaper, they watch TV, and one day everything looks good. And then the next day, the Big Ten shuts down and, Division III programs shut down and the PIAA delays. So it was a summer of roller coasters, ups and downs. And, fortunately, we're so remote that it really hasn't contacted us in any way.
Yeah, you are. That's a good thing, actually, in a good way there. Before we talk about the skill set guys on your team, I want to talk about your line. You have a big line. I know for a while, a couple of years, you've kind of been poised for this year. So I know the fact that COVID almost took it out of you, the fact that you guys are playing in the postseason is very gratifying. But I asked Jim Roth, the Southern Columbia coach, years ago when your relative was playing for Lackawanna Trail right around then. I said, would you rather have big linemen or really good skill kids? And he looked at me with a smile and he goes, give me 5 big hogs because I can find anybody in my student body to want to run behind that line. You do have skill guys, but I think your line is really the beginning part to what's working this year. Would you agree?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Our guys are doing a really nice job up front for us, both offensively and defensively. They have been, playing at a pretty high level right throughout. I didn't know necessarily how good they would be. I was a little concerned at times. And, when we opened with LaSalle and they hung in there, I thought, we have a couple of kids that can play at a pretty high level here. Obviously, Mike Gesick is going to Albany. So we do. We have some quality guys. And I would agree. Anytime you can get 5 kids up front that are good, tough, hard-nosed kids, makes things a lot easier for everybody else on that football team.
That last highlight we showed, I guess you saw it, and then the one before that with the 2 big plays. Machado had the touchdown, then you threw to Aiden Black on the tight end screen. Both times, Jason Henderson is leading the escort all the way downfield. So my question is, I've met Jason a couple times. We've interviewed him a couple times for the Dream Team. Is he a chirper? Because he's going right downfield and he's like talking to the tight end like he's not even blocking. There he is. And it's like he's almost saying, hand me the ball or something. What's he saying?
He's probably telling him this is, busting him saying, this is as fast as you are. Come on, run faster. Jason is the ultimate competitor. He is the guy that is the catalyst for what we want to do. And, he just competes. He's a great kid to coach. And when he gets a chance, he lets the other guys know that they're a little slower than they should be.
You implemented that tight end screen. Is that something that you got from your Paterno days or your Nick Donato days? Where'd you get that?
That's Nick Donato. We practiced that play my senior year, my entire year. And I kept asking Coach Donato, when are you going to run the play? When are you going to run that screen? We ran that screen the last drive of my senior year when we needed to score against Berwick and picked up some pretty good yardage on it. So that's something that we've always worked on and that we've had, and it's a pretty darn good play for us.
And McGee scores on a trap on the 2-point conversion. All right, let's not talk about glory days. Let's talk about this week. What do you know about Altoona?
Well, I know that they bring a completely different set of challenges than we've ever faced before. They're going to run what most people call the Navy offense. You know, they're going to be downhill, run and dive option, and then the counter back off of it. And they're real big and they're real good at it. So we don't really see that, nor do I think that I've seen that in my career run as well as these guys run it. With the skill set that they have. So we're going to have our hands full in terms of what they're going to be doing to us. And then defensively, they have a group of kids that fly around and get to the ball. They have two big defensive tackles. They try and keep people off their linebackers and let two big athletic guys fly around the field and make plays for them. Should be a really good challenge for us, both sides of the ball.
Again, we're in November. You're playing postseason. If I asked you in August, did you think Delaware Valley would still be playing, whether you were good enough or whether COVID would stop you? What would you been your answer in August?
Absolutely not, because of COVID.
But you believed in the talent.
I believed in our talent. I believed in the group of kids that we had. If you told me we had a chance to get to week, 12 or week 13, I would have agreed with you. I didn't think we would last a month into the season, and here we are. We're playing on borrowed time and taking advantage of the week by week approach, and we're up for the challenge this week.
All right. So, Mark Duda went to Maryland. I know you had Brian Shore had success at Lackawanna before James Madison when he played with you. Is Penn State at least going to beat the Terps?
Yeah, they're going to take care of the Terps. They'll take care of the Terps. I'm pretty certain of. Listen,
All
they
right.
had a tough draw right out the gate. Indiana is like that.
Oh, I know. Indiana's a good team.
Thorne and Franklin's side, and Ohio State's Ohio State. They're just at a different level right now.
All right, Keith. Well, let's put our Nittany Lions in the back burner. You take care of business Friday night down in Danville against Altoona, and hopefully we'll come and talk to you again next week up in Milford, okay?
That sounds great, Jim. Thanks for having me.
All right, Keith. Keith Olsommer and Mike Brennan. Brennan, of course, from Danville. Keith from Delaware Valley. Montoursville going to take on Danville. It should be a high-scoring game, 42-28 the first time around. And again, Delaware Valley playing at Danville against Altoona. So that was our first podcast. I'm going to go over and put my 8-track player back on and get back to my 1970s comfort mode. If you enjoyed it, let us know, and we'll do it again sometime before the end of the season. Have yourself a good night. We'll see you Friday night with more high school football.